Millions of people gain strength and find solace, take comfort in the sense of community that faith and religious ceremony can provide. It's what so many rely on, especially in times of crisis. Now, with churches, mosques, and temples closed, the way we come together to pray, to grieve, to celebrate new life has had to change. Faith is a long game. And as Redmond Shannon explains, religions all over the world are learning new lessons on how to cope.
Social distancing at the Western Wall. Face guards in the Far East. And honking for Jesus in the US South.
God doesn't want us just to go back to normal. He wants us to go back to Him. Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
The COVID-19 pandemic has changed how we worship. Gathering together is a fundamental part of prayer. Millions, possibly billions of worshippers have had to modify or totally suspend congregating. Some have resisted orders, trusting God before government, but most have bowed down for the greater good. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Mecca's Grand Mosque has been almost deserted for Ramadan this year.
It's definitely been a very different Ramadan for us this year, as it has been for, I'm sure, for everybody across the world. Where we're normally used to it being a very community-spirited month, we're having to adapt to stay at home.
Rokma Ahmed works with a UK charity that normally arranges huge gatherings, welcoming Muslims and non-Muslims to celebrate at giant iftar events, breaking the daily fast. But this year, it's all moved online.
So where we would have our normal open iftar events, we've essentially just taken that virtually, and this is operated on Zoom and broadcast on our Facebook live stream channels as well. One thing that we've actually found is that we've reached out to more communities than ever before. So we've had people from Australia join our iftars, Oman, Uzbekistan, America.
A different faith on a different continent, but the same sense of generosity. Volunteers at this Sikh temple in Surrey, BC are delivering thousands of meals to those who are isolated and to frontline workers. The Gurdwara's doors have been open to only 50 people a day, a restriction that affects more than just prayer.
It's also actually social activities in the temples. Older people comes for the social activities, and they meet each other. So everything is stopped. So the elder peoples, they have a very difficult time.
As many worship from home, staff prepare for new measures in the new normal, praying by appointment in shifts.
If some more people want to come, we will make the 4 shifts. We can make the 5 shifts.
Technology has truly been a blessing for believers of all faiths. This pandemic would have been very different just a decade ago. But Skype worship isn't quite possible for everyone, particularly for Orthodox Jews on the Sabbath.
We don't operate the computers, we don't use our iPhones, we don't operate electricity, everything is prepared in advance, we don't travel in the cars.
Rabbi David Rosen says some people have gathered online before Shabbat, others just do the best they can.
Nearby my house there is a park, and about 15 of us have been meeting there, keeping social distancing of 2 meters and wearing masks and being able to pray together. Luckily enough, we're in a part of the world where the climate enables us to be able to do that.
People often look to places of worship during epidemics in hope and in sorrow. This church saw the worst horrors of the Great Plague of London in 1665, one that killed a fifth of the city's population. Reverend Canon Alison Joyce has lit a special candle every day since the church was forced to close. She is inspired by her predecessor Richard Pearson from 355 years ago.
I can't help wondering what kept him going. What kept him going when it was day after day after day of that kind of unremitting tragedy. He buries whole families, he buries his congregation members, he buries people whose names he doesn't know, they just found the body. And somehow he kept going.
Now COVID-19 sermons are broadcast online, featuring MP3 readings from worshippers at home.
Do not let your hearts be troubled.
The church has even created a kids' newsletter to replace Sunday school.
This week's one had a whole feature on my cats.
Canon Joyce says difficult decisions lie ahead when the church reopens, particularly when it comes to administering Holy Communion.
There's been a lot of heartache, but also some remarkable gifts as well. I think we're learning to do ministry in a completely different way, and we're learning lessons that, like many churches, we'll take forward into the future as well. I mean, it's been a time of great opportunity precisely because we've had to rethink everything that we do.